Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here. Sitting here drinking my morning coffee, retopping my cup up to do a second coffee chat whilst I'm here, getting ready for client stuff. Alright, cowlid muscle. Once again, I'm going to keep updating this. I might as well, because people bring me info on it. They're always linking me the stuff at this point. Few things going on. Number one, now he's over to apple-only diet. First it was only this watermelon in these fasts, and he was throwing a little avocado in, which he used to take a pop back at Chris Jones, talking about essential fats. As if there's a whole lot of essential fats in avocado. It's mostly monounsaturated. But I digress. He's done all these crazy things. Ignored his doctors. And now he's doing the apple thing. And this is against the advice of his medical doctor. Right? Keep in mind, I kept a death watch. I made predictions on a bunch of people who died in this fitness industry. I predicted them within 6 months, give or take accuracy, ahead of time. Quite a few of them at this point. Cowlid muscle survived. Barely. But he's determined, I guess, to beat the odds. Of course, Sam Saluk is on my list, and that upsets people. I don't know why, guys. I'm just being honest with you. It's not about hate. Cowlid muscle. You know, here's the thing. I discussed in that, I watched the one thing he did with this doctor, and the doctor was a complete quack, saying things that are medically false. Been debunked by mainstream nutritionists, everything else, like a lot of the stuff he was saying. It was just ridiculous. Doctor was a complete quack. But then he's got other doctors he's gone to who are now telling him, you have to quit doing what you're doing. They're saying at this point his situation is such that if he is not careful, this is what he was told by a doctor, that he could drop dead instantly. Okay? That he is at that threshold right now as a cardiac patient. And he has to, they told him, number one, quit spewing misinformation to people. Number two, quit doing these crazy weird diets. Like that, they're like, this is going to kill you. You know, and that was what was interesting. I want to discuss this last time. You know, you had people come in, I don't see how what he's doing could kill a cardiac patient. And it's like, you don't see how massive shifts, like doing these fasts and everything, you don't see how doing multi-day fasts for someone who is a currently high at-risk cardiac patient could disrupt the fluid in their heart, could disrupt the electrolyte balance involved. Really? Like, that one was the one that shocked me. They're like, and I mean, and this is known, this is accepted. For example, you take the month of Ramadan. Month of Ramadan. I've got plenty of Muslim followers. They know exactly what we're talking about here. In Islam, medical doctors can give exceptions for people. If someone were a cardiac patient of the severity that cowlid muscle is, their doctor will say, no, you don't practice the fasting of Ramadan because it's dangerous. It could kill you. It's understood, right? And they're allowed an exemption, and everything's good. Because at that point, it is now harmful. It could kill them, and that's not what they're trying to do. That's not the goal of a religious fast like that. Okay, they're doing it, to my understanding, for various discipline reasons, for certain types of discipline and focus, which, you know, I get. It makes sense. Totally get that. You know, when it's been explained in that manner, right? It makes sense. There is a certain amount of discipline required to adhere to something like that, actually quite a bit. So, but in that case, the doctors will say, no, you can't do this, because they know it can disrupt the electrolyte balance, fluid balance, shifts in blood pressures, and someone who's at risk like that could have a heart attack from it. Okay, it's a problem. Yet Callie's been doing it. Then he got lightheaded, passed out, had to go to the hospital in one of them. And yet he just keeps persisting. Right? He continues to persist in doing this, despite his doctors telling him to stop. And I'm not against fruit. I'm not against fasting. You know, that's the funny thing. It's like what he's doing is so extreme. The funny thing is, I mean, I'm fasting right now. I'm just having my black coffee. I'm probably not going to eat breakfast till noon. I eat a very high carbohydrate diet. I eat a very high carb, very low fat, mostly plant-based diet, but I eat animal proteins, right? Which I think is the best way to eat for humans. I think that the medical literature pretty much largely agrees with that. No problem with that. But he did the extreme thing. It's like eating like no protein and then mono diets. Eating only watermelon. Hey, I had phases in my lean bulk last year where I ate watermelon as a staple calorie most days. It comprised over 50% of my calories. No issue with that. But even now, I don't eat all of it. You know, for example, yesterday I had 3 staple calories. What I had sweet potatoes, I had brown rice, I had beans. Those were most of my calories. And then I had my other vegetables in there. I had a little bit of cantaloupe. Right, we had broccoli, spinach, all that stuff. And then I had my Bootopia. Okay, that's what I ate yesterday. It'll be a little different today. All right? Be a little different today. But no issues with those things when not taken to the extremes. But he is taking them to the crazy extremes, to the points where his doctors are saying, you have to stop this, you're going to die. You know, he went from one crazy extreme that harmed his health going all the way to another. It's like the people who are vegan who go carnivore. They go from one extreme to the next. Okay, that's when you know the vegans who did that, it wasn't about animals or anything to them. Right? It wasn't about animals. It was about their mental illness and their need for extremism. And you can tell when they go to carnivore because they didn't resolve that issue. Callie is exactly the same way. He had to do the most extreme stuff, run massive amounts of gear for many, many years. Even then, his diet advice was laughable. The top ramen and tuna stuff. Although he was eating way more balanced most of the time. You know, then he has these health issues and then runs to this other extreme and then demonizes, you know, all the sugar and yet he still sells the sugar. It's just ridiculous. No, it was run eating large amounts of fat while blasting tons of gear. Okay? Look at the stuff that he got from Richard Rodriguez and all those orders, right, when that was released. A lot of orals in there. That's why he has cardiac issues. Doing that with huge amounts of fat. Okay, pretty straightforward. But he goes to this other extreme, and he's not going to make it long. He's not going to make it through this year at this point. And I don't think that's being mean. It's not being a dick. It's just calling facts. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I'll talk to you guys next time.